Hello guys. In this video we're going to go over smooth muscle contraction. Um, I realized that in the last two videos there's like a watermark in the center. It said unregistered. I just bought like the full version because I thought this would be a nice way to record now. And so I bought the full version, and so now there's no watermark. It was only like $4, so it's not too big of an investment. And so this video we're going to go over smooth muscle and cardiac muscle. And so they both have slight differences to the normal skeletal muscle, but it's not too big of differences. So smooth muscle, there's no troponin and there's no tropomyosin. Oh, but there's negligible tropomyosin, that's what I want to say. So there is tropomyosin, but we have no clue as to what it does, so unknown function. But this is what smooth muscle is. Smooth muscle is kind of like the muscle that surrounds your organs and stuff, so it allows like kind of them to contract. And so its only really slight difference is that they're smaller, which means it's gonna have less force, right? And that's really the main difference. And like the only really difference, like big difference, is in the way that it contracts. So the way that it contracts is, so this is going to be the cell, just that, this is the SR, the sarcoplasmic reticulum, this calcium, C2+. So the main difference in this is that the way that it contracts is slightly different. So in skeletal muscle, there's an action potential that comes in, acetylcholine is going to come in, and then you're going to have the gradient potentials, and then you're going to activate the sarcoplasmic reticulum, and they can contract. But what's going on here for smooth muscle is that calcium's going to come in, or there's like an increase in the calcium in the cytoplasm, and what that's going to do is that's going to bind to something called calmodulin. What calmodulin does, it's going to activate the myosin, and then that'll allow for cross-bridge cycling. And so this is really like the main difference, but like if we go deeper into the cycle, this is basically what's happening. So if you look here, step 1, Ca2+ comes in from extracellular space, or SR, right, where we saw there's an increase in calcium either from the sarcoplasmic reticulum or from this. So that's step 1. This will activate, binds to Ca2+, which will activate something called myosin light chain kinase. And what myosin light chain kinase is going to do, it's going to do MLCK phosphorylate the myosin light chains, and 4 you're going to have cross bridge cycling, and then you're going to step 5 ATP come in, and then myosin light chain kinase, myosin light chain phosphatase comes in and takes the phosphate away and then stops the binding. And so really this is its own step. I wouldn't say it's its own step, but actually, yeah. So let's give a visual representation of what this means. So let's draw the actin and myosin. So this is going to be the actin, this is going to be the myosin, this is going to be the myosin, right? And so what's going to happen is myosin light chain kinase comes in, plops a phosphate onto here, and it's going to allow it to connect. Allow it to connect, and allow it to connect, right? So that's what myosin light chain kinase is going to do. And so then I'm going to get another color. Then ADP and phosphate comes in onto here and it's going to bind onto like this spot. And then you're going to allow for cross bridge cycling. So now it's going to do the power stroke. So then ADP and P are going to connect here and it's going to do the power stroke, right? And then after that, ATP is going to come in. ATP will come in after the ADP and P are used. So then let's draw them a different color. ATP going to come in, and you have two options. So now let's see if I'll just split these two scenarios. So now these are two different things. So there's two scenarios that's going to happen. This is going to turn to ADP and P. And what that's going to do is that's going to continue the power stroke, and you're going to get another stroke, right? And then you're going to get another ATP in, and then you're going to continue to contract over and over. Or ATP is going to come in. It's going to the ATP come in, and then I believe myosin light chain phosphatase is going to use it to, no, I don't think it uses it, but ATP is going to come in and myosin light chain phosphatase is going to come in, take this green thing away, this green phosphate away, and then you're not connected anymore, which means you're relaxed and you're not going to contract anymore. This is what smooth muscle does. And now let's move on to cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle. And really there's not too big of a difference as well. So cardiac muscle obviously is going to only be around the heart, and so this is really what's going on. So you have the cell, there's something called the SA node, which is going to send an action potential, and this will open a voltage gated sodium channel, and so the voltage gated sodium channel will come in. This will open another channel called the L-type calcium channel, which will also allow calcium to come in. What this calcium is going to do is going to connect to the sarcoplasmic reticulum, and it's going to bind right there. I'll draw them a different color. It's going to bind right here, and that'll interact with the ryanodine receptor, allowing it to move calcium out. So this is called the cardiac muscle. It's known as the calcium induced calcium release, because, well, you see here calcium's coming in, and that's what's allowing it to bind to the sarcoplasmic reticulum, which is allowing for more calcium to come out. And then calcium comes in, ryanodine receptor, and then it's going to bind to troponin. In this case, I forgot to mention that there is tropomyosin and troponin. And then you have the normal cross-bridge cycling. And so there's nothing different compared to the skeletal muscle. The only thing about it is different is the way that it's activated, right? So instead of skeletal muscle, where you have the motor neuron, acetylcholine, right, yada yada yada, this one you just have the action potential, so there's no acetylcholine. It's going to open a voltage gated sodium channel, and then that will open an L-type calcium channel. Did I say sodium here? So, okay, let me restart. SA node opens a voltage gated sodium channel, which will open a L-type calcium channel, which will target the sarcoplasmic reticulum, specifically the ryanodine receptor, and then that will allow for calcium to come out, which will then allow for cross-bridge cycling. And so yeah, that's my video. Have a great day.